Hello, welcome to Flight Experience. My name is Captain Todd Mickelson. Today you will be the captain of our replica Boeing 737-800 flight simulator. Before your flight departs, I'd like to introduce you to the simulator and help familiarise you with some of the aircraft systems and flight controls. The Boeing 737 is a twin-engine, short to medium range commercial aircraft used by most major airlines throughout the world and capable of carrying up to 189 passengers. It is the highest selling jet airliner in history, with more than 4,000 aircraft in regular service today. On average, a 737 is departing or landing somewhere in the world every 5 seconds. As the captain, you will sit in the left seat of the flight deck, next to your co-pilot, who is there to assist you during your flight. As a crew, you will fly to one or more of over 24,000 airports worldwide. Whether you are flying a city-to-city sector flight, following airline-based procedures, or mastering your takeoffs and landings by flying circuits, you will experience what it is like to fly a modern jet airliner. The simulator itself is a replica of the Boeing 737-800. The cockpit layout, instrumentation, systems and flight controls are very similar to the real thing. In fact, the simulator is approved to be used for instrument flight training by qualified pilots. Now let's have a look at the flight deck and the aircraft systems and flight controls. When you enter the cockpit, don't be too overwhelmed by the many lights and switches. Your instructor is there to assist you and will brief you further before you take off. You'll be introduced to the steering wheel, which is called the yoke. This is used to control the aeroplane in flight. A light grip on the yoke is all it is required to simply guide the aircraft through the air. Think of the yoke as the steering wheel in your car, but with the added ability to make the aircraft go up and down once the aeroplane is flying. When on the ground, the yoke has no effect on steering, so instead you will use the rudder pedals and steering tiller for directional control. The rudder pedals are also used to activate the wheel brakes. Once you take off though, you will use the yoke for flying the aircraft. In the centre of the cockpit we have the thrust levers. Similar to an accelerator in a car, the thrust levers control the power or thrust of the engines. There is one thrust lever for each engine. As you push the thrust levers forward, you are increasing thrust and the aircraft will accelerate. As you pull them back, the aircraft will slow down. During landing, you will use reverse thrust to help you stop on the runway. Reverse thrust is activated by pulling these two levers back halfway to engage and then back fully to increase the amount of reverse thrust used. On the throttle quadrant, we also have the flap lever and the speed brake lever. The flaps help increase lift for takeoff and landing. The speed brake is used to help slow the aeroplane down during the landing roll. Once airborne, you will primarily use your flight instruments to fly the aeroplane. These indicate where you are in the air and help you control the aircraft. There are 6 screens in the cockpit in front of you to display the main instruments, which your instructor will explain during your flight. The display on your far left is called the primary flight display. This is the main instrument you will use during flight. It consists of an artificial horizon to show you what the aeroplane is doing in relation to the real horizon and provides essential data such as airspeed and altitude. The next screen to the right is the navigation display. This is a moving map display which shows the position of the aeroplane over the ground and what direction it is pointing, similar to a GPS in a car. Your instructor will guide you through its features in flight. Finally, in the centre, there are 2 screens displaying the aircraft's primary and secondary engine instruments, including thrust, temperature and fuel quantity. Below these screens are our flight management computers, or FMCs, which are the main flight computer or the brains of the aircraft. Moving behind the thrust levers, we have the pedestal, where the radios and navigation equipment are located. Above us, we have our overhead panel, which primarily consists of our aircraft systems, including fuel, electrical, hydraulics, air conditioning and pressurization, engine starting systems, and external lighting. Finally, moving down to the glare shield, we have the MCP, or Mode Control Panel, which essentially controls the aircraft's autopilot and flight director systems. This completes a general overview of the flight deck. Don't worry, your instructor will give you further guidance throughout your flight. Make sure you ask about the great DVDs, photos and other memorabilia of your flight available to you after you land. So welcome aboard, Captain, and have a great flight.
Runway 15 right, clear for takeoff.